12, verses 1 and 2.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
Isn't it wonderful to be in a service where God is still speaking? Isn't it amazing? Because sometimes you go into a service, you can only hear what God spoke 2,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, and they'll repeat it. It is what God speaks to you now that turns your life around. Your body is an object of confirmation to the word. There is software and hardware in your phone. Hardware is the hard substance that you hold, the one that you press. That's the hardware. The software is the one that responds to your commands. You can live life just based on your hardware, software. So you need to sacrifice your body in order to live your spiritual life. Be not conformed.
It's actually aeon.
Aeon. Aeon means an age, an era, a perpetuity, a season, a time, as compared to the physical world. But world means an era, a time. Aeon means an age or a generation, a time. So the Bible says, be not conformed. Over times, what generations go through change. Over time, you who are young today, the things that you have today, your children's children or your children one day shall look at you and think you're a dinosaur. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So the Bible says, do not conform yourself to this system, to this age, to this pattern. Be transformed. That's another Greek word. Where we get the English word what? Metamorphosis. What is metamorphosis? A process by which a caterpillar changes into a butterfly. And that process where the caterpillar hides itself into a cocoon for whatever number of days, weeks, whatever. And then it comes out as it went in a caterpillar. It comes out what? A butterfly. Something that could not fly when it went in. It comes out with an ability to fly. Something that was not beautiful when it went in. It comes out beautiful, able to fly. So the Bible is saying, be metamorphosed. You as a child of God, you cannot unveil your divinity. The greatest prison is your mind. Prison of your mind. It can keep you in perpetual mediocrity the rest of your life. So the Bible says what? Be metamorphosed by the renewing of your mind. The word renew there.
Anakenosis.
Yeah, you got it. It means to renovate your mind. So there are some thinking patterns in your mind which are actually falling apart. It means to what? To renovate your mind. There are some thinking patterns in your head which actually pull you backwards. You cannot talk about renovation without talking about breaking things. First of all, you have to break the old thinking patterns. This is the biggest prison that you shall ever have. You may not be in a physical prison, but as long as your mind is tied down to the old way of thinking. I have got a thinking pattern that I acquired in that era. In those days, we as young men, we had a thinking pattern. When I became born again, the Bible says I had to renew the way I think. I didn't have to think the way I used to think before I became born again. When I gave my life to Jesus, I had to renovate my thinking. Am I talking to someone here? I had to begin to think like a heavenly man. Hey! Do you know what makes you African? Is your African thinking. You see, what makes you Fijian is your Fijian thinking. When you walk on the island of Samoa, they've got a thinking on the islandish way. You say we are meeting at 10 o'clock. They come at 3 p.m. Island time. They've got an islandish thinking. Am I talking to someone here? It is your thinking which locates where you came from. But when you renew your thinking, when you change your thinking, when you change your thinking pattern, hey, there has to be a day and a moment when you break the African thinking way. You begin to think like a heavenly man. You begin to think as someone from heaven. Am I talking to someone out here? In Australia, when they say the service starts at 10 o'clock, 2 minutes to 10 o'clock, the preacher is on the pulpit waiting for the time. They've got a thinking pattern that controls them. People end up with a heart attack, the stroke, depression, all these things, not because of anything else. It's because of a thinking pattern. It is a thinking pattern. So people start going in circles. No one loves me. No one thinks about me. No one cares about me. I'm all by myself. Life was never meant to be lived for you. Your life is not for you. Your life is for someone else. You are not here to save yourself. You are here to save other people. Any life lived for me and for me and for me, the end result is a disaster. Be metamorphosed. In other words, your mindset can keep you into a caterpillar mode. Because the Bible says the moment you renovate the way you think, you begin to fly like a butterfly. Am I talking to someone out here? You look beautiful like a butterfly. Say yeah! There is a bigger life out there to be lived. There are bigger places to explore and enjoy. Life is beautiful when you're looking at it from up there. As a butterfly looking down. Hello, caterpillar. One day I was like one of you. Me, I refuse to die between Egypt and Canaan. Anywhere here, there's no graveyard for me. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Now, the prison this thing is, it has got high walls, higher than the most, fenced, let me use a different language, than the maximum security prison of Argentina.
And after 6 days, Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John, his brother, and bringeth them up into a high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light.
Took them to the mountain. And I want you to notice what the Bible says. And was transfigured before them. In other words, the act of transfiguration was within his control. He chose to show it, and then he closed it again. It wasn't an external influence on him. It was a choice from within. To show. There are some things that you think about in your mind which actually depress you. And the Bible says there's no way you can begin to enjoy your divinity until there's a process of renovation, until there's a process of renewing your mind. Am I talking to someone here? Say yes!
Yes.
Get connected to Prophet Gerald Nyasulu of Streams International from Australia on the following addresses: Sydney Campus, Streams International, 74 Leholm Road, St. Mary's, New South Wales, 2760. Townsville Campus, 109 Ingham Road, West End, Queensland, 4810. Brisbane Campus, 10 Marie Street, Milton, Queensland, 4064. Adelaide Campus, 32 Parker Street, Ferryden Park, South Australia, 5010. Port Moresby, Tinky Winky International School. Call 1300361971 or email hello@streams.org.au. Visit www.streams.org.au. Prophet Nyasulu also streams live on Facebook and YouTube.